Welcome back everybody to the analyst desk of the first match of the week, Afreeca versus Genji. Today we'll be joined by 수빈 Yoon and Pittori and Lira.
네, 오늘 경기 이야기 시작해 보겠습니다. 뱀픽에서 오늘 조이가 좀 늦게 픽이
What was their take on the draft?
아칼리를 뽑아들었어요.
Well, Zoe was picked up really late, and then BDD picked up Akali as a counter into Zoe. The main reason for that is Olaf and Zoe is a really strong comp, and Genji wanted to focus on the bottom lane. And they were able to utilize the strong lane phase of Varus. Afreeca first picked Kalista, which means that they were aware that bottom lane will be so crucial. In Varus versus Kalista matchup, taking Kalista in the very early phase of the game and also picking up Zoe in the very early phase of the pick and ban would be so important, but they weren't really able to make the best value out of those early picks. They banned out Turek and Leona, which means that they wanted to block Afreeca to have a very strong laning phase in the bottom lane. So Genji successfully stopped Afreeca and forced them to pick Braum to pair up with Kalista. And the game was pretty much over in the very beginning of this game. We could see why Varus was so strong. The Varus goes very aggressively as the lane phase gets started. So this was a very one-sided and huge win trade for Varus. And then he hits level 2 first and takes Q and keeps adding pressure. Kalista cannot take this trade because he was so low. They were keep chunking down the support and making the wave to shove into the side of Afreeca. And at this point of the game, Clid, Volibear got the Scuttle Crab and Seth also placed the ward in the Tri-Brush. Because Olaf cannot jump over the wall, they completely blocked him away from this bottom lane. As Varus kept his one-sided trade throughout the laning phase, Afreeca, they weren't able to answer it because both of the bottom duos were so low. They got all the critical skills away from these bot duo, and they successfully picked up the first blood onto ban on Braum. Genji bottom duos were able to min-max the win trade during the very early phase of the game. Well, they had a very similar style on both junglers. They always want to fully clear the jungle camps and then go for an early fight, but Volibear successfully just blocked him away. And not long after, Genji once again successfully get another point at the bottom lane. Olaf had to camp around the blue side because the blue buff was getting regenerated. And then Ruler was doing a great work with this pretending moves. He goes in and out of the brush and pretending that Volibear is not in the brush, but Clid was actually camping there and gets a really easy pick onto Braum. Afreeca was not really aware that Clid would be potentially camping in the bottom lane. And as Ruler was faking with his moves, autoing outside of the brush and going back in, they couldn't really imagine that the opponent jungler would be hiding in that bush. With this lane freezing, Afreeca rather thought that they were going to waste time of Clid by Olaf moving into the red side of the Genji jungle, but that was not the case. Because Genji was able to make a huge lead starting from the laning phase, they could easily snowball throughout the game. Genji, with this power of their lane phase, they were able to close out the game really easily this time around. It's time to check out the player of the game on the side of Gen.G. It's Ruler on Varus, his third POG of the split. Ruler was not picking Varus in the earlier time of the split, making a lot of people a little bit curious about why he is not picking this champion in the spring split and also in the summer split, but he actually proved himself in this game that he is also a very proficient Varus player. The way he puts pressure on his pick and ability, and also the later phase, the teamfight ability was on point. And with the support set coming together was also cherry on top of this game. Genji, their opponents must be so struggling to find out a way to play up against his Varus and also his Ashe. As we can see, bottom duos are picking up a lot of POG votes over here. And it's time to move on to game number 2, Afreeca versus Genji. Pass it back to our casters. Thank you.
Thank you so much, G-Sun, as usual, for the analyst desk translation. And LaSwinger tried the best that he could to get Life that player of the game. I find that, that was so funny watching the highlight reel of, Life getting a 5-man ulti into 4-man facebreaker, but actually, no, this was all about the Varus, guys. Don't you worry about it.
Not talk about it.
Yeah, a little bit sad. But it was 4-5, and Ruler has certainly been playing very well. And I think picking up a player of the game here, even though it wasn't necessarily his game to do it, some of his Ezreal performances deserved it as well. Yeah. And so I think him having more points is okay, in my personal opinion. And I like that the votes went to Life, Ruler, and Rascal, because I think the three of them played very, very well in game number 1. So let's see what Gen.G have in store for us as they move over to blue side for game number 2. I think this has been an interesting transition. A lot of the patches have not been huge.
Right.
But I think that counterpick is becoming more and more important, and red side is becoming more and more coveted.
Yeah.
For these teams.
Draws on.
Yeah.
And we'll see what Afreeca is going to manage to do with it now on red side. Gen.G are going to be the ones going in blind. Let's take a look at the ban phase. Set Azir instantaneously.
Yep, Azir against BDD makes a lot of sense. His Azir has been fantastic. Set and Volibear both removed here on the red side by Gen.G. We'll have a very different game this time around. We'll see whether Afreeca continue to ban Ashe. It was Azir, Ashe, and Orianna last time, but it looks like due to the red side, the TF has to be banned, and I think the Karma will have to be banned as well. Otherwise, they risk that being flexed all around the map. I could imagine that if Gen.G grabbed Karma, they'd be very happy to run the Ashe Karma lane again. Life, a very good Enchanter support player, and Ruler is fantastic at the Ashe, and it will mean that they'll be able to create a bottom lane that is very difficult to overcome. For Afreeca, Varus banned on blue side, not wanting to deal with it. And Lee Sin is the final ban against Clid. So Karma should be locked in here, right? And it is.
And let's see how Afreeca tries to respond to a B1 Karma. As this is already looking like Gen.G are going to be pretty comfortable on blue side, because Karma, given that she can be flexed 4 rolls, it makes her very difficult to respond to, and so it makes it so that Afreeca is sort of the ones that are picking first.
And now Afreeca probably going to lock in something like Zoe Ezreal just for a good core. They could take the Olaf as well, because we know that here in the LCK they love Zoe Olaf. Spirit instead going to go more of a pokey route. No. It was considering it for a second, but instead it is going to be Aphelios.
And the Aphelios is so interesting because it's prone to Ezreal Karma and the makings that those champions tend to come from.
Yeah.
And team compositions that they'll often be a part of, so...
I think Ashe is a beautiful pickup here because you keep that flex on the Karma and you move it to a very high likelihood that that Karma is going to be support as well. And so Gen.G can hold on to a lot of flexibility for a long time in this draft phase, and I think Clid can just take something comfortable here if he wants to. I think Olaf does fit in quite well, and that is where Gen.G are considering for the moment. This is like draft decimation again already. We're only 5 picks in.
Well, Afreeca see what they respond to it with. Obviously, the Dittos are removed. If they wanted to go for the Nidalee that they were hovering before, they could just lock it in right now, but things would obviously be a little bit wonky.
Yeah,
and no,
Nautilus
actually
does make the most sense for Afreeca, right? Because they just love 200 years under the sea and bend back on a lot of comfort.
Is that where you find SpongeBob?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know whether the game's released on Switch yet. There are a lot of people complaining about the fact that the SpongeBob game hasn't been released. Yeah, it's just something that I witnessed on the internet.
Okay.
Just complete aside.
All right, not a big deal.
Yeah. Braum going to be banned here as Afreeca, not wanting anyone to play it. I don't know why we're banning supports. I think Gen.G are pretty comfortable with flexing the Karma down there if it does get pinched.
Yes. And Jace taken away by Gen.G is a little surprising. And Afreeca, they're banning away Leona. And, I mean, both of these two champions... I mean, Leona is a little bit more understandable as a ban away because it's a champion that can reach Aphelios even if he does get body blocked, but right now, Gen.G, the one thing that they need to, or well, ideally, would try to find for themselves in their team composition is not continue to just go all-in melee short range against Aphelios without a viable way to reach him. I mean, Bard could still come in.
Yeah, Bard could come in. I think Syndra could work here as well for BDD. If he's confident that he can sidestep some bubbles there in the mid lane, it will allow some extra pressure. As Wukong comes through for Keen, that's going to be blind top lane, wanting to make sure that they can get Spirit's matchup as good as possible, which I find quite interesting. Oh my goodness, Tarek, this is just insane synergy with the Olaf. Like, this is buff up the Olaf style of composition. I do think they need more damage.
Oh,
Is
they're
BDD thinking about Kiana? I like assassins into Zoe.
Where's the Zed?
Yeah, bring it. Echo, another option.
Echo, will he just get locked in?
I mean, they could still pick Silas as well, and then that way they're flexing the Karma continually, but instead it is just going to be picking for matchup here on the side of BDD, and they do have Afreeca's solo lanes face up. And so despite the fact that Keen was pretty outspoken with counterpick being important, doesn't seem to matter. Is this? Hang on a second.
No, there's no way.
Where does it go, and what is it there for? Okay, so not going to happen. As that's Rise. So we've got a Jungle Wukong this game. Right?
Jungle Rise?
Jungle Rise? Okay, let me have a look.
Rise?
I don't think it's Jungle Rise.
Yeah,
it's got to be top.
I can't imagine that.
Whoa, now we've got two Zoes? Where are we? What is happening?
Well, that's what happens when it's 200 years. I mean, stuck in between.
Whoa.
So
it's exactly the right time for that bug to come in when this Rise was randomly picked up and we get Jungle Wukong for the first time.
And I don't even understand really the Rise up in top lane because Karma, she's the one that gets to have control over what should and shouldn't happen inside of the lane. Obviously, in a vacuum, he gets pretty free farm, but I don't understand what he's supposed to do against so many of these champions. Rise really hates when you can dog him down and legitimately run into him. And even though he likes champions that can run into him, ones that are CCing him while doing so is not the most ideal. He's very good in brawlery kind of team compositions, especially when he has a front line that can really just allow him to unload.
Yeah.
That's not really present.
And also they're up against ultra control composition out of Gen.G that will slow you down, snare you, throw arrows at you, and ultimately just control you. And I think Echo really ruins what Rise wants to do as well. I mean, Parallel Convergence is just so strong against sort of low range, low mobility type champions, and Rise fits into that category unless he can have permanent uptime on his phase rush. And speaking of phase rush, as we get onto the Rift, we do notice that Spirit has taken that one as well for as much boosting around this map as possible. And yeah, I think that this might be, yet again, Gen.G off to a pretty good start when it comes to the draft. But Spirit, taking his monkey to the Rift is going to be exciting. We know that this guy does like the dark technology.
Yeah. This is going to be interesting. Now, Wukong inside of the jungle, he doesn't get the same base levels and the same econ that he would like in top lane. However, given that he's surrounded by magic damage top, magic damage mid, magic damage support, he could just go lethality and not need as much of an economy, and then he basically becomes Malphite, where he dives into the enemy team, presses Cyclone, and it conducts himself in a pretty similar way.
Yep, it blows them up, but over a longer period of time, like
yep.
2 seconds instead of instantly.
And
it might have been why they were hovering the Malphite, honestly.
Yeah, I'm really unsure why Rascal has Scorch. And then the other thing is the adaptive ability power from the get-go rather than the scaling CDR so that you utilize Transcendence later if you really want to min-max.
Yeah.
Because Gen.G have to know that their team composition is not intending to blow things out of the water super early on. They're going into mid-game, mid to late transition. And so Karma's runes not super congruent with that, especially because you can't really kill Ryze in laning phase. Here we go.
Yep, bit of damage there as Life gets taken down to about half. Mystic pulls back his Severum. But Life's still in a little bit of trouble here, taking a lot of autos from Mystic's Caitlyn mode.
This is a very sinful Olaf opening clear. I do not know.
Yeah, what? Just runs over, takes the enemy Wolf Camp and blue buff, and then immediately over to his. So it will be a 3-buff start here for Clid. Q's going to miss there from Mystic. And you can see that Ruler is very comfortable. If he wins here, it will be 7-0 on the Ashe so far for the season. Yep. His Ashe has been very strong, but this is certainly the favorite lane duo for Afreeca. See whether they can get anything done, as Rascal's going to have to move back. Spirit is spotted on a ward. And Clid now going for a full clear after taking the opposite side of the map. So yeah. Spirit's going to be, pretty starved after this.
Spirit's going to end up recalling. Doesn't actually stick around for Scuttle Crab or go to his Raptor camp. He recalls, has bow.
Big dazzle there as Mystic. Taken down to 200, but Life's in trouble. Does have to back away. Q, I believe, missed. No, landed onto Ruler. Life's going to have to start autoing some things so he can start healing back up again. You can see Gen.G do have a bit of a minion wave, so pretty happy just to chill.
And, well, ooh, got tagged.
Yeah, exactly. Gravitum comes through as well. Dredgeline not going to find exactly the stun they were looking for, but Life does move himself far enough away, and Spirit going to miss out on that first gank. He should be able to grab himself a Rift Scuttler, as Clid went back to base at that particular instance and has himself a slight item lead on his first recall. Bit dicey, but we've got the Exhaust and the Flash on cooldown for Life, and Ruler did have to use his heal. So still successful gank there for Spirit.
And meanwhile, up here in top lane, Keen just getting shoved in ever so slightly. Not the end of the world.
Yep, Clid also down here on the bottom side trying to shove this wave towards the turret. Might be Gen.G looking for a bit of a recall timing here, and Mystic will be able to clear out this wave very comfortably, tanking up most of it. Back will come through for Ruler. Does not have teleport or anything like that, and as you can see, 4 CS advantage here for Mystic as he clears out that wave. And it is here going to equalize. You can see Ruler not wanting to actually go home just yet. Going to wait for that mini wave to crash, as Mystic will be able to get a pretty opportune back timing here on the Aphelios.
And it feels like right now, I mean, this is what we thought could end up happening up here in top lane. Rascal is at about 15% mana, not really achieving a whole lot. I mean, Keen's still a double refillable. He just popped one.
Yeah.
He's not under any pressure. Scorch doesn't really serve a huge purpose, and Ryze is obviously going to be pretty happy with the way that everything's going. Keen is feeling very comfortable inside of this lane, so Ryze is getting to coast by for free. The one upside, though, to Gen.G's team composition is that Karma is so efficient with her initial items, Ardent Censer and Athene's Unholy Grail.
Yeah.
She comes online so fast, and Echo with Protobell. With Olaf, you would assume that Gen.G would be able to threaten dragons.
Oh,
Very
no.
That was a cannon.
I love the
Take it
zoom.
away.
I love the zoom.
Take it away, take it away.
Jonas Strong just really coming in there, making sure that he shows us exactly what we really want to be watching out for. Gen.G with a very slight gold edge at the moment. Phase dive over the wall. Fly's still going to be able to punish BDD there, who just eats through some of his corrupting potion. Fly does have a first back that he's still sitting on, with a Fairy Charge just chilling out there. Oh. Now Fly looking for a little bit more. Should have the dash, and BDD gets himself to safety. Does have a slight CS edge as well here in this mid lane, despite the range disadvantage.
And it looks like
waiting in the wings.
Yeah, they're trying to induce a trade here. They're looking to feign weakness so that Ben will pull the trigger.
All right, Dredgeline comes in. Clid is going to get the inside track here as Spirit can't come forward. Life getting taken down to about half health, but Clid is in the right place at the right time. Make sure that everything is going to be okay. BDD not going to ult back to this wave or anything like that. Kane still getting poked, but it was a Merc Tread start here for Rascal, so not augmenting the damage. Really?
Yeah. Fly's just going to be handed over the blue buff. Not a whole lot happening. We're in a bit of a lull state here. We're all just playing ping pong with one another. Not the end of the world. It's been a while.
This is what we like. And actually, I mean, neither of these teams really want to go overly aggressive in the early game, so you can understand why they're just handshaking on this particular instance. But you did mention that when first item completions start coming in, that's when Gen.G can actually opt into a bit of a fight. So maybe we'll have some more aggression a little bit earlier than in some of our other LCK games.
Yeah.
But yeah, right now, not happening.
Nothing really going on at this current point in time. Not really a gold lead.
All right, Fly going to take a lot of damage here. Portal jumps to get out of the stun. Does so quite nicely, but still suffers a bit of a health bar loss.
Yeah. Kane's going to kill one of the wards, and I really like Karma's itemization here. It just goes for Merc Tread's first item. It's going to have a lot of value against Afreeca in later stages. And it's not really imperative that you try to get to the Athenes.
Had to use it to get back to lane.
Yeah.
Didn't want to walk past Rascal, as Clid is going to be able to take this first Cloud Drake, 8.5 minutes in. Next is going to be the Infernal. We'll see whether it's going to be Ocean or Mountain this time around. Another parallel convergence gets set up here from BDD. Just things flying around here in this mid lane, as you can see. Not a big deal. But we'll see whether he helps do this. Oh, the arrows flashed very nicely there by Fly. Hits the bubble under BDD as well, so a bit of extra damage. Is now Spirit.
Oh,
Not going to be decoying or anything like that. Time Winder does nail that cannon creep, so BDD is going to redeem himself just slightly. Spirit misses out on yet another Rift Scuttler. Clid is just able to get around everywhere he wants so far this game. No one opting into Shelly at the minute. BDD teleports back. Dredgeline goes wide here on the bottom side. We check in on the CS. 12 in the lead here by Mystic. A much better game for Game 2 than Game 1. As parallel convergence. But Spirit just decoys, gets himself out of the way. It's all fine. Oh.
Yeah, Hook ends up whiffing. And at this point in the game, there's not really too much that one would expect to happen until that Infernal comes up. But because, again, Echo, Karma, their items come online a little bit faster. Ashe's recipe component items are more effective than Aphelios's. And then Tariq's value, compared to that of Nautilus, is just going to be so effective when no party really has items to just instantly delete one of the opponents. So when that Infernal Dragon does eventually come up, it should still be Gen.G favored. And then if you're a Gen.G fan, what you're hoping for is to get an Ocean Soul. That would be the ideal dragon over Mountain.
Oh, now the stun comes in as there's the ulti out, as the bubble did land onto BDD. That's a brilliant trade here for the Echo. Fly might be opting into going back, but you can see he just used his teleport. And that's certainly not what you want. Still, a couple of charges on this Corrupting Potion. Parallel Convergence once again thrown out. BDD just looking for any opportunity and now kill the backline with a Time Winder, and that's when Echo is just so mobile. Clear out waves instantly, and immediately leave as the arrow's going to land this time. Dazzle comes through from Life as well. Doesn't even consider what was going on.
Yeah.
And that is so easy to get first blood here for Gen.G in the mid lane.
And that is a very surprising kind of first blood that ends up happening, and BDD gonna be feeling really good about it. As
Mystic not feeling so good as he's going to find yet another volley.
What the hell is happening?
The flash forward, and Ruler's going to be able to grab that one. Ben's also going to be dead here, guys. Death Charge comes in, and Ruler is tanking a lot of minions, but he still had heal. And he's going to get the flash out of Ben as well. So, yeah, I don't know what's happening. My friend, he must have just assumed Ruler was somewhere else, and then gave him absolutely no respect whatsoever.
I'm a little bit beside myself right now, Atlas.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
AK lacking sanity.
Yeah. Lost sanity for sure. We'll see the replay of it, and I'll try to break it down.
Well, I don't know whether I want to.
I hope that my eye disease doesn't progress during the course of it, as
we're starting to understand why you have that particular eye disease now.
Yeah,
It's too much of this. Maybe this is bad for you. Oh dear. We'll get that checked out. Even CS towards the top side of the map. BDD, though, continuing to play aggressively. But that bubble is a good one, and Fly trades back well this time around. Another arrow.
Oh.
Another one that's going to connect. As, yeah, BDD's got ulti, he can get out, and this Zoe is just getting bullied in the mid lane.
Yeah, Ruler really lined that one up. And Fly is just completely lost at this point in time. Ruler, he has Bilgewater, he could threaten to freeze there because Tarek's coming down first. And so with the sustain and Tarek eventually coming and healing him, everything would be fine.
여기 쐈다. 맞췄다.
I got it. He initially thought that he missed.
나이스. 바텀 받아먹으러 가야 돼.
I like the fade away.
Yeah.
As we're going to see what Mystic was doing here. He got a couple of plates. But the fact that he walked that way around the
and then
turret
he hits the turret again?
Yeah.
Just flash, dude. What? I mean, Ash would flash too, but like if he's ever going to flash, you do it at the start.
Yeah, right.
Doesn't make the thought process is not congruent. He has cleanse as well.
I mean, I would have assumed cleansing and flashing would have been a good idea. As BDD avoids the bubble, Fly is in a lot of trouble here, but he's gonna survive. Gets out, I believe, with the Ghost. His flash will be available again pretty soon. But during that flash cooldown, it was the first arrow avoided with a flash, and then he got hit by 2 arrows immediately afterwards without his flash available. So I think Fly might need to look into collecting himself a few extra cleanses from his unsealed spellbook.
And it just feels like right here, it's near impossible for Afreeca to really take this team fight. If they do, I would imagine that Tarek and friends are just going to be a little bit too strong.
Electrocute as BDD avoids the bubble quite nicely. Does put his ulti on cooldown, is now Rascal looking for Keen. Realm Warp gets him into safety.
Yep.
And the double dazzles. Beautiful out of life. Versus 3 people. Not going to be going in or anything like that, but does keep himself alive as we're close to a 20 CS lead again for Mystic on the bottom side. It's what happens when Ruler runs away to throw arrows into the mid lane, I guess.
Yeah, and this is going to be Afreeca just sort of coasting by right now. I mean, Infernal Dragon is live. Olaf, Tarek, and Echo are in close proximity, but Ryze has now made his way back up to the top lane. There's no way they're going to try to defend against this.
We'll be able to see what the soul is going to be this game as well.
It's
okay.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
I hadn't considered the script.
Yeah. I get it.
As these Ocean Drakes come up, Rascal is going to move closer and closer to his Ardent Sensor. Keen does have, his first couple of items working out as Keen steals away that Rip Scuttler very nicely. I mean, Keen will hit his 2-item spike pretty soon. Mystic looking for his Runans as quickly as he can, and he's farming very, very well this game. 10 CS a minute approximately. And Ruler with just below the Ruin King at the moment. looking for a similar item spike, but I think with Infinity Edge Runan, you feel a little bit better as a Diaphelios. Okay, Fly getting electrocuted.
Yeah.
And phase drive resonance, or resonated, I guess is what you call it.
And now BD, I mean, he's just moving into Fly to zone him off cannon. Life's here as well. They're going to get the first turret of the game. And Fly is just so far behind right now. I mean, he even misses the Paddle Star for good measure, so.
Yeah.
You know, it's just sort of a thing that's happening at this point in time.
Not a good one, either.
Yeah.
As we're just going to throw a Hawk out. We're having a pretty great time, even though he's behind in CS. He's been able to get out of this lane and throw arrows around pretty much as he wants to. I actually really like Ashe players that just throw opportunistic arrows. Like, when you have it off cooldown, you may as well put it back on cooldown to maximize the efficiency of the ability. I mean, if you ever have something available, it's always better to use it, right?
No?
No, I think it is. I think it is. It's about arrows per game. You know how we talk?
That's a new stat.
Yeah, it's a new stat. It's like the amount of arrows, like, you miss every arrow that you don't shoot.
That is true.
You know?
That is
so
true.
you may as well just keep throwing them out. And yes, when it's reactive ultimates, things like that, then yeah, you probably should have them available. For an Ashe, that's an initiation ability.
All right.
Just throw it around the map. See how many you can get
like
circulating runes.
Olaf should just activate his Ragnarok whenever he has it.
Yeah, no, that's just to make sure he can get from camp to camp.
Exactly, exactly. Without any CC happening.
Yeah.
The wind is honestly it's definitely an obnoxious thing.
They have one Cloud Drake, you know?
True.
So, there we go.
And the rain on the Rift right now, it really must be bogging him down.
Yep.
I can only imagine what he's doing to his boots.
Look at Rascal. His ulti's always off cooldown.
Honestly,
been
I hadn't
listening.
considered that.
He's been listening.
Yeah.
It's obviously what it is.
Wow.
Anyway, all jokes aside, I do think that like going for plays whenever you do have your Ashe arrow available is really smart. As Parallel Convergence is going to force Afreeca out of that brush. And Gen.G is going to try and take down this outer turret on the bottom side. They're done with the laning phase. They want to move on. As Ruler will at least get this down to 2/3 health.
Yeah, this looks like a very slow and systematic collapse out of Afreeca here in this series so far. A whole lot of nothing is happening, and yet so many things are happening, Atlas. That's how it seems to be going. I mean, Wukong is still down here. He's level 9. And this is one of the weaknesses when you pick a jungler like Wu and you don't manage to get ahead, and you have a reliance on doing so, it ends up becoming pretty dead weight. Everyone's just going blow for blow right now. Echo's going to make his way back into mid lane. Fly playing very cautious and reserved. Echo doesn't even need to actually shove this out. It seemed like the wave was coming in indefinitely, and so if he just froze, Zoe would get... She would lose this next wave too. But now they're
come over
going to
and look
invade.
for a fight. Yeah, Ben not wanting to engage onto the Olaf just yet. Cyclone comes in, not sure who got the blue, but Spirit's trying to get himself the heck out of here. His decoy does a fair bit of work as there are a lot of years being thrown out, but Ben has to go golden. Ulti through from BDD. The fadeaway time winder is Ben going to flash it for the minute, but Ruler avoids the bubble. And Fly's going to get punished. Does get a fair bit of damage down there with the proto belt that he picked up from the ground, but not going to be able to find any kills just yet. A bit of a skirmish, and still don't know who got that blue buff.
Well, BDD's going to go back into mid lane. Going to push the wave out immediately. Probably look to recall. He does have teleport available. Looks like he's going Lichbane second.
Should have that on his next back as well.
And he has 4 stacks on his Dark Seal.
Whoa, that's a redemption from Rascal. Not wanting to go for the Ardent Sensor, actually. Synergizes with Ashe so beautifully.
Yeah, the redemption...
That's an odd
I mean, it's going to have a lot more value inside of the fight, especially inside of Taric Ultimate.
And also there's a lot of AoE damage coming out, so you are going to get a lot of value there. Parallel Convergence comes in, BDD with a perfect play. 5-man stun! Out of the Echo, Mystic has nowhere to go. BDD with complete control of the team fight. Cosmic Radiance just for good measure. Another Dazzle comes down. Life having a brilliant game so far as well as Spirit and Fly have to get the heck out of there. Ocean Drake was picked up by Afreeca, but at what cost?
Well, that is oh man, I mean that engage, it doesn't really get much better than that for Gen.G. They're
Absolutely
thinking
best.
of Baron, and I mean I'm trying to think of the words that are TOS friendly right now in order to describe what just happened on the screen.
Very successful echo initiation.
Okay.
Is what I would call it.
All right.
As BDD just going to play bodyguard for the Baron pit. As Arrow is going to stun up the jungler perfectly. Oh my goodness, these guys, they're having a good game today. As BDD might have bitten off more than he can chew. Ruler moves out of the pit. As BDD goes back, looks for the kill on the Mystic, almost gets it, but doesn't. The Baron in the meantime is going to go down. So BDD did do his job. Now Mystic's in a bit of trouble as far as that health bar, but otherwise he's going to be A-OK. So, 4 members with the Baron buff here on Gen.G's side. They move towards a 4,000 gold lead. Teleport in as Rascal tries to save the outer turret in the mid lane. Mystic doing a fair bit of damage to it though.
I like the Magi pickup so much on Rascal. We're seeing players do this more and more now, and it's so intelligent when you end up doing it. Let's take a look at this.
This is called 900 points.
Yeah, that's that was a 5-man echo stun.
Yeah. That never happens. I've never seen that happen.
I don't think I've seen that happen either, actually.
Yep.
To be completely honest. I mean, that was
삼각.
this was an intentional CLG.
And also, I mean, that was with an invisible Wukong that got himself into the circle, you know?
True.
라이저.
Damn.
Well, complete massacre of a team fight. They converted it into Baron immediately.
And this arrow from Ruler as well was absolutely fantastic. We're going to come back to live where Keen is dying. Yep, the Rise not quite finding the value as of just yet. He's sort of died twice, and that's been his contribution. 5,000 gold, the lead exactly here for Gen.G. Looking to extend it by another 1,000 potentially. Runans is done here for Ruler. He's also got a cheeky pickaxe. See what he decides to actually turn that one into. As, yeah, the Baron power play is sitting at 1,300. Oh, it was leaked for a second. That was cool. As Fly's just taking autos from Ruler, and I love this. Like, Ruler just plays his Ashe, trusting in his ability to kite so much that he can just frontline. And BDD, in the meanwhile, is just going to head towards this inner turret on the top side of the map. Will be 5 turrets to 1. And the snowball is well and truly commenced. Inhibitor turrets now being sieged. There's Mystic. Still a fair bit of AoE with the Infernum available, but I just don't think it's enough.
Yeah, there's not a real opening for Afreeca. Even Zoe bubbles don't really do anything at this point because you have Tark, you have Karma, that can just shield through it.
Yeah.
And so Ashe and Echo are both being hypered by them. And so at this point in the game, Karma with so much healing, Tark with so much healing, there's no real way for Afreeca's team comp to win an actual fight unless Aphilio's 200 years.
Well, he's going to try to, as Mystic does have a fair bit of defense. Fly trying to get on in here as Spirit finds the backline. Cosmic Radiance, though, denies so much of what they're trying to do, and BDD is underneath the turret. He will be able to take down Fly. Still has the ulti. And, I mean, the Ashe falls, yes. There are a lot of years that he had to contend with, but now Keen, the last man standing. Still 4 members of Gen.G are here. He does have a fair bit of AoE. As Rascal's landing a few of these Qs.
Crab Rave.
Yeah, there's got a bit of a Crab Rave happening. But this should be the inhibitor. Turret going down. Is Keen still not able to face check 4 members of Gen.G. Heads towards the top side. He clears out that wave. His Seraphs is done. So he hits the power spike at exactly the time he needs to. But unfortunately, it's still too little too late.
Yeah.
30 seconds on the Ocean Drake. A reset comes in for Gen.G. And it's still feeling good.
And, well, at this point in the game, it's an 8,500 gold lead almost for Gen.G. Remember, they have the Infernal Dragon, bolstering all their stats as well. Ardent Sensor probably going to come in next for Karma.
Yep.
Although she did just pick up a stopwatch after she had the Forbidden Idol. Let's take a look at this one more time. So, Rise Ultimate to deliver Wukong into the back lane. Nautilus goes down very early. Taric Ultimate says, no thanks, not today. And Mystic, he doesn't have anything that he can do during this time, and then where he comes back to life.
Another BDD flank is Mystic. Not going to get stunned by this one. Dredgeline gets Ben out of the way as well as Arrow is going to get a goal. In between everyone, BDD not going to do the same as Ben's taken down to about half. And the thing is, Gen.G can just go for these sort of plays. They're not going to get punished. This is all just opportunistic. And Clid will be able to grab himself Soul Point alone as the Viking. And Genji just feel like they're too far ahead. 8,000 gold to lead. But that doesn't really matter. It's the fact that this map is so wide and so dark for Afreeca.
Things are looking extremely grim.
Oh my god, BDD has a rabbit in his death.
Yeah, I think
he's feeling himself here today. Got to get to the 900 points, man.
Yeah.
I think maybe he gets there, right?
MVP is Tarek, KP.
Yeah.
The kill participation. Where would they be without him?
I mean, he doesn't have... Ruler's sitting on 100%, so if you wanted to go with that argument, maybe give it to the ad.
He has a death.
Yeah, so does BDD.
Not impressed.
So
Exactly. That's why they're not
right,
eligible.
okay, so they're not eligible. Yeah, I
Yeah.
apologize. But what about a 3-level advantage?
We have to keep his points down for Chovy. Please understand.
As soon as BDD gets to like 1,100 points, that's when we really have to like go hard.
We have to start chilling, yeah.
Yeah, that's the real problem. Whereas 900, I mean, Chovy can catch up to that. That's no worries. You got to talk to Carrier though. He keeps stealing them away.
Yeah.
The deserved mid lane. Very disappointing. There's Clid, reckless abandon, running into 5 people because he can. And Bubble not going to do anything to the Olaf. Parallel convergence there. As Ben not going to get stunned, but you can see Gen.G just taking everything. The Baron's going to be up in 3 seconds time. Gen.G with ultimate vision control of the area. And with the inhibitor still down in the mid lane for another 2 minutes, this Baron will 100% go to Gen.G unless they decide that they want to start a fight instead. As Mystic grabs himself some vision of the Baron. It's been pretty impressive of a performance as the arrow is going to land on the Mystic. Parallel convergence was there for the follow-up. The instant cleanse was good though. They do get the cleanse out of Mystic, and you'll always take that trade because the Ash Arrow is going to be back up pretty soon.
And Clid is just waiting patiently right now for anyone on Afreeca to walk in, and BDD going for another angle!
Yeah, the flash now has to be used. They just systematically remove the summoner spells from this Aphelios as Clid gets bubbled and nothing really happens.
Yep.
And now, with no summoners on the Aphelios, Gen.G can very easily go to the Baron.
Yeah, and Tentacles Arrow, I mean, it's already 50%.
Yeah, exactly.
They take the Blast Cone.
And now Ruler can just tank it forever because he's got a Pocket Karma that can keep him very, very healthy. Clid moves on in. Spirit going to have to walk over a ward to go for this 50-50, and BDD, he says no. Decoy's going to be up. BDD just going to practice. Use that one like a target dummy. Okay, Realm Walk to get the monkey in once again, but...
Yeah, it does no damage.
Yeah, he's immediately going to get exhausted. Redemption comes forward. Here's the ulti out of the Taric as well, as Clid misses out on it, so he still has to flash to get himself away, but another 3-man parallel convergence comes through. The value out of this Echo has just been gigantic. BDD hopping around this team fight. The volley's flying in. Echo will fall down, but it doesn't matter. Fly's going to die. Keen's going to flash. Ruler throws an arrow into the heavens. Let's watch as it casually just goes past the shop. I think maybe Ruler wanted something. I'm not entirely sure. Keen trying to kite it out, but he's not going to be able to get anything done. The ace comes in for Gen.G, and they'll complete this 2-0. Damn, they look dominant today. Oh my goodness.
Well, that's the game.
So you handed me 2 of the player of the game selections, and I get to choose which one that I'm going to throw down.
Yeah.
And so I'm just going to scrunch that up into a little ball.
Which one was that?
And I'm gonna offer this one over here. Perfect.
Well,
I mean, the game is still going, I guess. Ben is going to die one last time. Potentially. Oh, the Nexus. Yeah, there we go.
88.
Yeah, lock down that kill.
Yeah.
Mystic also extraordinarily close to falling as Ruler. Just kiting like crazy. They want to be able to get as many of these kills as possible. Mystic puts himself onto his fountain, and Ruler is going to let him live for this moment in time. Nexus goes down, and Gen.G with a very comfortable 2-0.
Very, very decisive. And Annihilation basically comes out in this series. This was a 2-0 that, honestly, later on tonight, Damwon, it's going to be hard to outdo it.
Yeah, this is like a speedrun competition, and Damwon are going up for it next time around against the dynamics that actually haven't been too bad. Their last couple of matches, I believe, have been pretty impressive, to be perfectly honest. And being able to find wins where they shouldn't have been able to. I mean, Dynamics destroyed T1 in a really beautiful display of just better macro and control. It was a difficult series to watch, but it showed that Dynamics do understand the game far more than T1 expected them to.
Yeah.
So, whether that's going to be the same for Damwon is a very different story.
Yeah. And I think the way that Damwon and T1 win games are entirely different.
Oh, yeah.
So, Dynamics are going to be much more hard-pressed against Damwon than they ever would against T1, so it's going to definitely be interesting. We'll see what they can manage to do when that series does end up happening. Gave the player of the game over to, reluctantly, BDD.
His parallel, he literally landed the best one we've ever seen in pro play ever.
Yeah, I think so, actually.
I was like,
No.
5-man parallel conversion.
Watching
When do they
LCS
happen?
this weekend.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I mean, come on.
Yeah, still has to be the best. I didn't watch LCS this weekend. Nor did I watch the LPL this weekend, so I probably should have. I heard apparently TES fell to V5, which I'm going to have to go back and watch, because that sounds pretty interesting to me. V5 didn't think they had it in them, but they've turned things around with moving 80 carries to junglers and all this sort of crazy stuff. So LPL is exciting, but the LCK is also exciting, with BDD possibly moving to 900 points. Insanity. Absolutely insanity.
It's your fault, actually. It's really, you know, I mean, you're in this, you're trying to sabotage.
Do you know what I think is really funny? I think that BDD, yes, he's moving up.
Full.
I don't know, it's just sort of like it's leaving. Your headset's like also a Chovy shill, so it's
the
trying
big brain,
to leave.
you know,
Yeah. It wants you to stop talking about BDD.
Yeah.
But I actually think legitimately that BDD is currently the third best mid laner. In
Yeah,
LCK.
that's my Chovy Showmaker, and then
Yeah. I think Showmaker probably deserves top spot at the moment with how he's been performing, and with the fact that he has first place and third place and is the best performing mid laner in the LCK at the moment. Sorry, mate, but we're going to have Chovy show us some more things, not getting kited on Silas over and over again. As the arrow connects, and BDD is hand-delivered the first blood. This wasn't a BDD highlight. That was definitely the bottom lane giving it to him. And this was an int. Yeah.
As Ruler, I mean, it was one of the most simple. Ruler even looked like he didn't know what was going on when he clicked away.
Yeah,
briefly,
right?
Like, is this real? They go in, they end up just picking up the kill. Really nice arrow by Ruler there. BDD just, honestly, it's not even that he's running a bus. He was in the cockpit of a jet.
Yeah,
Here in mid lane. And
so
5-man
sick.
parallel convergence. That was a sight to behold.
Absolutely. And then there was just absolutely nothing that Afreeca could do. I mean, their composition couldn't teamfight anywhere near as well as Gen.G's, as another arrow pierces the heavens. And this was actually just after we came back from a replay, so good to see the setup for this particular moment. But Gen.G just looked like they were on form together, like as a unit. And it was off the back of some pretty fantastic Echo play. I think that Rascal also had a really good day today, and Ruler well and truly on form. As Cosmic Radiance is just a real problem against AoE compositions, isn't it?
Well, it is definitely a very strong display of skill here out of Gen.G.
Yep, it's just Spirit. Realizes that he does absolutely no damage.
Go slow, go forward, and then Canapilios. Apilios no flash. I have all in 8 seconds. It's okay. Boost has a flash. I have something in 3 seconds. We did it. Nice.
I love Ruler. That was my favorite.
We can get him. Yeah, we can do it.
라이저 때리는데 왜 갑옷 소리가 나냐? 근데 나 타릭 받았는데 왜 타릭 궁안 받았지?
너안 받은 판정된 거
And some
본데?
giggling
아닌데 나
here by
판정된
BDD
거
mostly.
타릭 궁안
As
받아가지고
this is where we'd already spoken about the game being over, but they decided to get more kills.
너무 받은 줄 알고.
대혁이 형 지렸다. 저거야.
So they wanted to farm a little bit more KDA at the very end.
아 뭐야? 잠깐만 뭐야?
Oh, they got trolled by the in here.
Right, that's what happened.
Oh, that's the
앞에 놓쳐 앞에 놓쳐.
Helios, 5 seconds.
다 죽여 그냥 죽여 이거 하나 죽여.
Kill him,
아
kill him.
끝났다 앞에 났다. 아 끝내줘
End,
그냥. 앞에
end,
놓쳐.
end.
스턴 3초. 살짝 내려. 스턴 해놨어, 저기요. 나 소자 있다, 아직.
야 죽여.
어머.
Yeah, die.
shield.
아나 궁
앞에,
없다. 나
앞에.
기젠 궁 쏘갔어. 기젠 궁 쏘갔어.
빼자.
저거.
Die.
Yeah.
Nice.
And again, it's a very, very comfortable gold graph here for Gen.G. Afreeca not exactly able to prove what they wanted to, which was that they're a top 5. I feel like this has once again segregated our league just a little bit into a top 4 scenario with T1 needing to show us a little bit more actually as this season progresses to make sure that they reaffirm their spot. But Gen.G now move up to, I believe, 7-2 and will have themselves almost locked down in second, right?
Yeah.
Or possibly even
no.
first, but only for a very small amount
Yeah.
of time until Damwon do head to the Rift in our second match and can defend.
The thing about Afreeca is...
Well, it's
they
going to be
go-
Ruler, never mind. Land in the Ash Arrows. Look, I personally think a 5-man parallel convergence probably gives it to BDD, but never mind.
Solo kill on Zoe. Contributor to a lot of these plays. I mean,
this was a Mystic highlight. Really? Well, low light.
well, yeah, an anti-highlight, yeah. I mean, Ruler,
He landed some
he
good
had
arrows.
some really good arrows to help accelerate the early mid-game, but outside of that, I mean, it felt like he just really did his role in the team fight.
This was a 10 out of 12, by the way, in favor of Ruler. 10 out of 12. And there were 2 votes for BDD. I don't know, man. That's, he did play well, you know, and he was frontlining, but this is a composition that's designed around Ash doing well. So,
What game?
I don't know. I think Life deserved the first player of the game. So I think,
What?
I mean, Ruler did, he was outspoken earlier on, just saying like he's been jealous of BDD for getting all of the POG votes. So maybe everyone today decided to feel sorry for him. I don't know. Did play well, definitely played well, right? So we're not super upset, but 5-man
yourself.
parallel convergence.
Speak for yourself. I'm pissed.
Yeah, I mean. All right, well, we're going to get off your screen for a little while. Here's G-Sun for some interview translation with Just Ruler.
Thank you very much, guys. Let's hear from the solo POG of Genji. Ruler, for this POG interview. How do you feel, Ruler?
좀 깔끔히 2대0으로 이긴 것 같아서
It was
매우
a
기분 좋은 것
3-2-0, so I'm glad.
솔직히 그 두 번째 경기
To be honest, in
그
game number
해설위원들도
2,
약간 얘기가 많았었는데
Korean
두 번째 경기 본인
casters
날씨로만 맞추고
we're really
항상 뭐
surprised
친원
at
중에
your
잘하고
crystal
있습니다만
arrow and your ash pick.
마블서버라든가 그런 애쉬 플레이는 더욱더 빛나지
Your
않았습니까? 어떻게
performance
생각하세요?
of that champion was popping off
용준이
today.
형한테 쏜다고 생각하니까 되게
I was aiming
잘 맞더라고요.
onto Fly and I was able to win a lot of
마음을
ultimates.
담아서 예, 우리가 뭐 세탁하거나 빨리 할 때도
I guess
그렇게
Ruler
이야기하고
was
그러니까
sending his true heart
네.
over to Fly, his former teammates. But let's go back to game number 1 and 2. So the laning phase on the bottom lane was so important. Tell about the Varus pick. The early level trade was so crucial.
상성이 되게 갈린다고 생각하는데
Varus and Kalista, it's actually all about the support matchup, and we had a winning matchup in game number 1. I guess Seth was the key part in the bottom lane. In addition to that, Seth is 100% pick ban rate champion. Do you also agree that that's S tier champion? It all depends on the pilot, but I do agree that it's an S tier or the first tier champion.
라이프한 그 좋은 모습 보일 것 같습니다. 근데 뭐 애쉬가 밴되거나 바로 오늘 끝나고 바루스 지난번에도 그런
So,
질문 저희가 계속 들었습니다만
We were just keep asking about the bottom lane pick,
바루스 뭐 계속 그랬는데
especially about the
문득 그
Varus.
질문을 뭐 하루 종일 들으실 것 같습니다. 바루스는 그런데 전체적으로 보면
Overall,
이렇게 많이 높은 게 아니고
you
뱅핑이 100%도
weren't really playing a lot of various games today, but you were popping off in that pick. How was your performance in game number 1?
있어서 한 5점, 10점 만점에.
I would like to give 5 out of 10 because my mid and late game play was not that clean.
구도상으로 보면 어떨까요?
What about Varus versus Kalista?
싸움 타는 것 같긴 한데.
It all depends on the mechanics,
무슨 구도에도 자신 있어서.
but I'm confident in either matchup.
네, 죄송합니다.
I'm sorry.
네, 구도상. 네.
그렇죠. 두 번째 세트로 넘어가면
Moving on to game number 2,
탑 라이즈가 또 나왔어요.
it was
오랜만에.
Wukong jungle
거기에 대해서
and
각
Rise
팀이 좀
top.
어떤 식으로 분석하셨었나요?
How did the players react and analyze their draft?
오공정글로 되고 이제
Seeing their final comp?
친구들이 뭔가 예상했다는 듯이 말하더라고요.
Well, actually the players on the top side in Genji, they reacted as if they expected it, so I trusted them. Game number 2, you did a great job on Ashe, but at the same time, BDD's Echo, the 5-man parallel convergence was so sick. Everyone was so shocked with that play. How did the players react to that? We were all surprised at the same time, so we just went all in together.
그리고 결국 김배인 해설도 계속 저런 애쉬
And
저렇게
with it
막으면 계속한다 막
was
이런
also
말씀하실
saying
만큼
that
화살 적중률이 장난 아니에요.
your Ashe was doing a lot of work, especially landing your ultimates. Is there any tip? Finding the enemy with the ults?
진짜 예전 프레이 선수 이후의 역대급.
Your Ashe
저도 진짜
kind of reminded everyone of that of Prey.
약간 45도 각도로 정확히 조준해서 쓰면은
45 degree, and you have to aim it really nice.
세트 코사인 또 이런 식으로.
그렇습니다. 각도. 자 오늘 뭐 1라운드 마지막 정말 기분 좋게 장식하셨는데 오늘
So you got a win to finish up the first round robin.
생일입니다.
And I also heard that your head coach is having his birthday. Any message over to him?
이제 저희 감독님 생일이신데
Yeah, Odin, it's his birthday today, so I'm happy that we were able to give him such a nice present, and we will keep our hard work for our upcoming series.
이렇게 그 감독님 뭐 생일이면 그렇게 좀 선수들 뭐 챙기거나 이런 게
Does the
있습니까?
players give any special present for the coaches whenever they have their birthday?
오늘은
We do, but not today.
당입니다. 예.
네.
자 그럼 이제 다음 경기
Your
T1입니다.
next opponent will be T1.
진짜 목소리.
Time for your revenge.
무조건 이기고 싶습니다.
I really want to win.
많은 젠지 팬분들도 그 복수를 바라고 있을 텐데. 자, 끝으로
Then any last message?
각오 말씀 부탁드릴게요.
Regarding that T1 series,
작년 이번 스프링부터 계속
starting from this spring split, we always lost to T1. So we will do our best to
알겠습니다. 오늘
turn the tide around and get a win this time around.
멋진 신곡
This will be the end of the interview with Ruler from Genji, and I'm gonna pass it back to our casters. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jisun, as usual, for the interview translation with Just Ruler this time. And managed to get an extra 200 points. I believe he's sitting on 500, like the majority of people in the LCK, it feels like. I think, yeah, second place is pretty damn close. Yes, Gen.G will move ahead of Damwon with this victory, just for a moment, because they have one extra match win. And Damwon will be able to answer back and get themselves a potential second place as well. Dynamics with an opportunity to mess things up, and also Dynamics are able to win. They can tie with Afreeca at 5th place, and then Afreeca will need to continue showing us that they are a cut above the rest when it comes to the other side of the standings.
Yeah,
because they don't look like they're able to tussle with our top 4.
No, they really don't at this point in time anyway, but I mean, the split is only halfway over right now. They do have one more song and a dance, which comes in at the end of the week versus Damwon. So
yeah, that is a really rough sort of first one back.
Yeah,
absolutely. But ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it. We've got a huge break.
Yeah, we do.
Between now and our next series. So I don't know, go on a holiday, something like that. It's going to be over an hour before we're back with Damwon versus Dynamics. So we'll see you then.